How to grow your network, 5 steps to get you started. Welcome to Achieving Success Through Failure. As people say, your network is your net worth. It is very important to actually understand its value and actually how to grow it, because this presents various opportunities by allowing to work with similar-minded people who are in the journey. And part of this group of network that you could be in is people who are ahead of you, who can basically give you a helping hand and teach you all about the shortcuts. People who are at your same level, who you could be your buddy throughout the journey and help each other. And there are people who are going to be people allowing you to help them. That's why it's a great way to actually help you grow. So let's get started. You've chosen your niche. You have to go all in on whatever this niche is, because the difference between a hobby and a business is the business actually generates money with you spending time in it. A hobby is something that you dabble on. Maybe you do it, but doesn't really generate any revenue. So once you've concentrated or picked a niche, let's say real estate, then you have to connect. You have to connect. And what does connect mean? Well, there's going to be a lot of opportunities. One is going to be through social media, in which there's going to be a lot of groups in Facebook. And these groups both include ones which are private and publics, and those which are private require a paid membership. But how do I know which one? Well, if you're just starting, you may consider on joining a public group. Before choosing which private group you actually want, by looking outside the window on what the network is doing, what they're talking about, and how they're running the group in itself. So what does it actually do? Once you've made the transition to grow your network by engaging, and how do you engage? By actually participating in discussions, and it's a give and take. You may want to share whatever experience you have and answer specific questions, or you may ask questions in which that actually allows an interaction. So anything that will actually promote an interaction, and it's a answering questions, answering, or asking. And from there, you're going to see people within the network starting to collaborate, have a discussion. Other forms of engagement, specifically in our groups, include meetups. Meetups. You could also have Zoom or other forms of web meetings. By participating in those, what that allows you to do is make it personal. You're no longer an icon or an avatar or a picture in someone else's computer. They're able to hear the real you, and from there again, you can actually have more discussions on what your interests are, what your needs are, and what you can offer. What the network does is connect people who are either going to be doing the same thing, or people who are going to be benefiting each other. And And that's why it's basically, when you look at it, it's a web in which you are trying to find the right people to work with you to actually grow. So when you're trying to grow your network and increasing your connections, there's always going to be things that you ask when you ask, what can you offer? The first three important things that you need to know are the three commodities that people either have or need. So the three basic commodities are time, number two, money, number three, skill. And everyone should have at least one of this. If you don't have money or skill, then you have time. What does that mean? You have time to actually learn the skill to be able to do a job, do a task, which will then generate the money. If you don't have the time or the skill, then you can actually invest having the money. If you don't have time or money, then you can actually invest by teaching other people a skill that you know, so that they, meaning people who have time, can perform tasks, and if it needs an investor, then people who have money. And see how all this basic commodities come into play, in which that basically helps people work as a team, so that you, not having all the commodities at the same time, can grow by actually generating multiple networks, which would then lead to multiple streams of income as your network actually grows. So number three, take action. By taking action, you basically land on ground zero, and it's a sink or swim. And that's what we did when we first got started in real estate. What did we do? Well, I talked to a specific realtor, and this is for real estate. And that realtor was also a real estate investor. That was actually in, I think, February of 2020. And by August, it's a long time, but we finally found a property. But then the question is like, well, do you know anything about managing a property? What if something breaks, the toilet breaks? All these questions. In order to move forward, you got to start marching. And for all those obstacles, what I planned on doing was actually use his network by doing something that benefits both of us. By having our realtor give us a deal that he found on a house, I asked him, hey, I'm basically starting and I don't know who to call for a contractor. I need a roofer, a plumber, and then I need to market this house as a rental after. So what that did is allow me access to the same network of people to help me run my rental business. And from there, I basically put it back on him to rent the house, which now generates me money. And now, after doing our first business, then we now understand the ins and outs for having started with nothing at all. And sometimes you really have to just jump in, take the plunge, understanding there are risks, and but understanding that risk can be mitigated. You either have time, money, or skill that you can offer, and from there you can work with other people to actually progress and grow your network. Number 4, it is very important to improve your communication skills. That coming from an introvert who is currently doing a YouTube basically pushes me to grow outside my boundaries. And what we continue to do is continue to push the boundaries outward. Communication is a very important skill. I never really thought about it as something that is very integral. But why is it so important, especially in building your network? Number 1, the way you communicate basically creates their perspective of you. Once you actually have the confidence to talk, then you can actually get people's attention. And what you have to understand is communication is not just verbal language. It's eye contact, and it's also body language. The other aspect of communication is being clear when doing transactions. You have to be on the same page. If you're not on the same page, misunderstanding costs dollars. And this may be something that can be mitigated or prevented before it occurs if you're talking the same language. That's why it's very important to communicate as well. When you're a good communicator, then you basically gather people's attention and then they listen to you. And from there, that helps you, again, grow your network by improving your social interaction. And there's going to be a lot of things out there to help you improve. And one of my books, which I actually enjoyed reading, was How to Talk to Anyone. And it says 92 little tricks for big success in relationships. Again, there's a lot of tools out there, and that may include Toastmasters, or doing a lot more presentations, speaking engagements, or just talking to other people. Go outside your comfort zone. Number 5, the last and the most important thing, is actually be genuine. By being genuine, you can actually be yourself. And people misunderstand what being yourself means. Does that mean I just wake up, wear whatever shirt I want to wear? No. That is not going to land you to be like Steve Jobs or Jeff Bezos, who can basically wear a shirt and sneakers and talk to people. But you have to be the best version of yourself. And what that means is you have to continue working on making yourself better without compromising on who you are. And the question is, well, who am I? Well, you could answer that one. What are your likes? What are your dislikes? What type of personality are you? Personally, I am an introvert, but I've actually pushed to actually grow outside so that I can talk to other people. I still do love, quiet dinner, and that's just me. We all have our own things, but there's going to be a lot of people out there who actually excel, and people love them for who they are. You don't have to be anyone else. but you have to be the best version of yourself. How has growing my network been? Well, as I mentioned, with regards to real estate, this has significantly changed my perspective in having a bigger network or umbrella in which I could grow. Because a lot of people have the skill set and the knowledge which I don't have, which I can learn from because they've already been through it. These become my shortcut. Having network also allows me access to money. That means if there's an opportunity that requires a bigger investment, then that's something that we can actually tackle together. And instead of being greedy and planning everything for myself, we can always do a win-win situation for everyone. And lastly, spending time with people allows me to work on shortcuts, which gives me more time backwards. Outside of real estate, well, there's a lot of things. There's going to be friends who've allowed me access to financial tools, which for accredited investors, also non-accredited investors, which would not be available to the average person. And at times, these are opportunities which are great that can get you an increased return on your money or learn about the business. Overall, this allows me various investment opportunities in and outside my investment portfolio. It helps increase my knowledge through the network, more opportunities, working with the right people at the right time. And lastly, it helps grow my network of friends and families whom I much appreciate. This is Paul Del Prado. Hope you liked the video. Please comment any questions or any suggestions for future videos, and click the like and subscribe button. I'll see you next week.